After months of silence and a season plagued by injuries that sidelined one of basketball's biggest stars, Caitlin Clark finally stepped back onto the court. But this wasn't just any return. This was her first USA basketball camp representing her country at the senior level and her first real basketball interview in months. What she said about her injury-filled sophomore season, the lessons she learned, and her huge announcement about her and the fever will completely change how you see her journey. Let us know down in the comments below how excited you are to see Caitlin back on the court.
What's your favorite thing you've done this offseason?
Favorite thing I've done this offseason? Man, just get back to playing basketball. Honestly, I didn't get to play last year, so played a few games, but just being on the court and having fun and smiling, that brings me a lot of joy.
The numbers tell one story. 62 records broken in a single rookie season. Historic performances night after night. Caitlin Clark had become basketball's brightest star almost overnight, but her sophomore year told a completely different story. A right groin strain appeared first, then a left quadriceps injury followed. Groin injuries on both sides developed. A bone bruise in her left ankle added to the mounting physical problems. After just 13 games, her season ended abruptly. The transition from record breaker to spectator hit harder than any physical pain. Clark went from dominating every court she stepped on to watching games from the sidelines. The quiet gym sessions replaced the roar of packed arenas. Physical therapy appointments filled the calendar where games once lived. Uncertainty clouded every day about when she might return to full strength.
I know you told us today that after practice you were a little bit nervous going in just because you hadn't played in a while. Was there a moment you kind of got over that, said, all right, I'm good, I'm back to where I was before I got hurt? And I think you hit that one step back three that bring some comfort in some ways in the sort of part we saw.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like when I touched the basketball to start warming up before the practice even started, that's probably when I felt pretty comfortable. But I've worked so hard. I haven't taken a break since, honestly, since the beginning of the WNBA season, with just all my rehab and getting back to where I wanted to be and then getting even better. So that's been kind of my focus. And this has kind of been my next thing that I've been working for since our season ended.
And those empty hours gave Clark something she never had during her meteoric rise. Time to think, time to watch, time to really see what her teammates experienced when injury struck them. She observed their frustration during rehab sessions. She witnessed their determination through setbacks. She watched them fight through pain just to practice with the team.
The training staff and player development and everybody that has kind of been there with me, they haven't taken a break either because they invest a lot of time and they want me to be successful. So I think for myself, it's not proving it to yourself again, but it's just that feeling. And I think it just made me smile quite a bit. I really did kind of feel like myself out there and just continuing to get my lungs back. But I felt like I was moving really well. So it was pretty satisfying.
The isolation of injury recovery became Clark's unexpected classroom. Every day spent away from competition taught her lessons about resilience she never learned while breaking records. She discovered that leadership extends far beyond making spectacular plays or hitting game-winning shots. Real leadership showed up in the small moments when teammates needed support most.
I wanted to ask you about, the last 6 months. You basically, I think you had a stretch of 7 years, whether it's Iowa or Dowling, where you just didn't miss a game. You never were out for one game with an ankle tweak or anything. Just having that stretch of being off the court and not playing games, did you learn anything about yourself? And did you learn anything about the game just being on the sideline rather than playing?
Clark began reaching out to injured teammates in ways she never had before. She started checking on them regularly through text messages. She offered encouragement during their lowest moments. She understood for the first time what it meant to feel disconnected from the thing you love most. The experience opened her eyes to the mental battles that come with physical setbacks.
I put together a pretty incredible stretch of never missing a game. And, the fact is, when you're a professional athlete, it's going to come at some point. That's just how it goes. I think it's honestly taught me more than I've probably ever learned through the course of my career of, how to take care of your body, how to get right, how to stay healthy, and then just taking time for yourself.
Her perspective on what makes a great teammate evolved completely during those months away from basketball. Clark realized that being present for others mattered just as much as performing well during games. She learned that leadership happens whether you step on the court or not. The forced break taught her that supporting teammates through their struggles creates bonds stronger than any on-court chemistry. The mental side of recovery proved just as challenging as the physical rehabilitation. Clark had to confront the reality that her body might not always cooperate with her ambitions. She faced doubts about whether she could return to her previous level of play. The uncertainty about timeline and full recovery tested her patience daily.
In a way, at the end of the WNBA season, like obviously I did everything I could to try to be able to come back and be able to play for my team, but it just didn't really work. I think that was almost a way of relief for myself, just knowing that I gave everything I could to possibly try to play, but my body just wasn't really letting me.
But those difficult months also revealed something powerful about Clark's character. She refused to let the setbacks define her experience. Instead, she used the time to become more observant about team dynamics. She studied how veteran players supported younger teammates through adversity. She learned to appreciate the simple act of being able to compete. Clark reflected on how the experience changed her approach to relationships with teammates. I think more than anything, it just teaches you how to be a really great teammate and a really good leader and understanding what your teammates go through, she explained. Like obviously I had teammates that have been through injuries and are continuing to go through injuries, so I'll always be there for them.
Continued to rehab, and now feeling back at 100%, it honestly took probably longer than I expected, but knowing my body's in a really good spot. And, I think more than anything, it just teaches you how to be a really great teammate and a really good leader, and understanding what your teammates go through. Like obviously I'm going to have teammates that have been through injuries and are going to continue to go through injuries, and always leaning on them and being there for them. And, if I have a teammate hurt going forward, like I'm always going to be the one that texts them and checks on them. And then, just pouring into your teammates. You can do that whether you play or you don't play. And that was kind of my main focus.
Her commitment to supporting others became crystal clear during her recovery. If I have a teammate hurt going forward, I'm always going to be the one that texts them and checks on them. Just pouring into your teammates. You can do that whether you play or you don't play. The injury period transformed her understanding of what leadership really means. The longing to return to competition grew stronger every day. I missed being on the court and playing. I would have taken 10 bad games in a row just to be out there playing. That's how much I love it, Clark admitted. The forced absence made her appreciate basketball in ways she never had before. Now that appreciation would be tested on the biggest stage possible.
This is the biggest honor you can possibly have, and playing basketball in our country is wearing USA across your chest. So, I'm just excited to be here and honored. Obviously, it's kind of like the start to the new Olympic cycle, and quite a few different things before we get to that point, but just excited to be here and be surrounded by a lot of really great players, some that, haven't played in Olympics before, and then others that have a medal or multiple medals. So I think it's been a fun group to be around.
The Duke University training facility buzzed with anticipation as 26 players gathered for the most important camp in years. This December session marked the official start of roster building for both the 2026 World Cup in Berlin and the 2028 Olympics in Los Angeles. Sue Bird, the newly appointed managing director, watched every drill with intense focus. Her job was to identify which players would carry American basketball into the next Olympic cycle. Clark walked into an environment unlike anything she had experienced before. Olympic veterans Kaya Copper, Chelsea Gray, Brittany Gray, Kelsey Plum, and Jackie Young brought championship experience to every practice. 10 first-time senior camp attendees, including Cameron Brink, Paige Beckers, Angel Reese, Aaliyah Boston, and Guju Watkins, created fresh energy throughout the facility.
Obviously, this camp has a lot of younger players. What can you say just about all of you being able to come together and kind of signify this start of this new Olympic cycle, with all of you being together and being so familiar with each other?
Yeah, and I think a lot of us have familiarity, whether we were playing on junior national teams together or whether we played versus each other in college, or obviously playing now versus each other in WNBA, or some of us obviously are teammates as well. So, we know each other pretty well. I think it obviously speaks to the way USA basketball does such a great job at the junior national team levels of really getting you kind of involved in the program and understanding what USA basketball is about.
The pressure was real. Clark hadn't played competitive basketball in months. Every coach on staff studied her movements during warm-ups. Every drill became an evaluation. The national team coaching staff, led by Cara Lawson, included WNBA coaches Natalie Nassi, Nate Tibbetts, and Stephanie White from the Fever. These weren't casual observers. They were decision-makers who would help determine America's basketball future. Lawson's coaching system emphasized exactly what Clark needed to showcase her skills. The pace and space offense created opportunities for quick decisions and sharp passes. The tempo favored players who could read defenses instantly and make plays at full speed. The spacing opened driving lanes for penetration. The system seemed designed to highlight everything that made Clark special before her injury troubles began.
Understand how big of an honor it is to be able to do this, and if you're lucky enough to do it, just once, that's incredibly cool to represent your country. So I think for us, like being able to have that and then come into this national team camp together, it just is a thing of comfort, but also like we're all very competitive and you want to be surrounded by the best at the same time. And I think that's kind of the feeling all around for all of us.
Questions swirled around Clark's physical condition throughout the first day. How would she look after months of rehabilitation? Could she still create shots off the dribble? Would her court vision remain sharp after such a long layoff? The basketball world waited for answers about whether the player who broke 62 records could return to that level.
Being hurt is an incredibly isolating thing, and you don't really understand it until you go through it. And then I think the challenge for myself was just, it was one injury and then it was like a little better and then it kind of continued to compound and get worse and, other things pop up. And then I had the ankle injury. So it feels nice to finally be back to 100%. And
Clark stepped onto the court for her first scrimmage session and provided those answers immediately. "I'm 100% healthy," she declared during media availability. The words carried weight beyond just physical recovery. They represented a complete mental reset after the most challenging period of her basketball career. Her game showed no signs of rust from the extended break. The passes came crisp and perfectly timed. Her dribble penetration looked explosive as she attacked defensive gaps. The step-back threes found their mark with the same precision that made her famous. Coach Lawson observed that Clark looked good on both ends and hadn't missed a beat. The months of focused rehabilitation had actually improved her overall conditioning.
Yeah, I think Coach Kara is, obviously she knows just as good as anybody else what USA basketball is all about, winning a gold medal. And then additionally, like she's been a part of a lot of different Olympic teams, whether it's 3-on-3 stuff, whether it's obviously an assistant coach at the last gold medal. But I think it's just the energy she brings. And I think that impacts every single person in the gym. And I think that's a really powerful thing as a coach. So I think that was, this is really my first time around Coach Kara as well. Like I don't have a prior relationship with her. So obviously it's been good to get to know her over the course of this first few days. But I think for myself, it's just the energy and the competitive spirit that she brings as a coach. I think that really impacts players and what they want to bring on the court as well.
Clark reunited with Cameron Brink, her roommate from previous USA basketball experiences. Their friendship spanning nearly 9 years provided comfort in the competitive environment. "We've known each other for so long," Clark mentioned, highlighting how personal relationships helped ease the transition back to high competition. The camp atmosphere focused on evaluation and chemistry rather than pressure. Clark reminded herself to smile and have fun as she integrated into the team structure. Her shooting range impressed coaches during practice sessions. Her quick decision translated perfectly to international style play. The pace-friendly system allowed her natural instincts to flourish without overthinking every movement.
Obviously, it's great to see Cam. Last time I played USA basketball, I'm pretty sure she was on the team, or maybe that was 2 times ago, but she was actually my roommate one of the times that I played USA basketball. So I've known her for quite some time now, and then obviously throughout college, continued to build our relationship, and then even now professionally. So it's always good to see people that you've known for, 5+ years and even longer now. I mean, it was the U16 team was the first team I ever played on, and I think I was 15. So it's been almost 9 years now, which is pretty incredible, the course of this journey.
Clark's presence alongside rising stars like Beckers, Ree, and Watkins signaled a generational shift for Team USA. The blend of youth and experience created dynamic practices where everyone pushed each other to higher levels. The competition for roster spots intensified with so many talented players fighting for limited positions. Her health declaration resonated throughout the facility because it represented more than physical readiness. Clark had mentally prepared for the leadership role that comes with wearing the USA jersey. The injury period taught her valuable lessons about supporting teammates and understanding adversity. Those lessons would prove crucial as Team USA prepared for their quest for a 5th consecutive World Cup gold medal. The camp represented the beginning of something much larger than individual comebacks or personal achievements. Between drills and scrimmages, Clark addressed topics that went far beyond basketball fundamentals. Her comments revealed an athlete who grasps the business realities shaping women's professional sports. When reporters asked about the WNBA's ongoing labor negotiations, Clark didn't dodge the question or give safe answers. She engaged directly with one of the most complex issues facing the league.